뭐야, 다 잠배야. 다 개그 캠베런 수 잠배야. 다 잠배야. 남줄 맨다. 다 비리소스도 제네. 지금 다 자양도 맨다야리. 남줄 맨다 용비야리. 다 한다 디또 실도 남지기 싫어다. 다가는 신기 창조 있음. 참마다 이제 자오지 창조 있음. 다 디냠는 자도 등의 집에 있는 장가부터 시작해.
So the meditation deity of whose empowerment and blessing is being conducted is Manjushri today. And Manjushri is the embodiment of the wisdom of all the Buddhas, and in the different tantras, different manifestations of or different forms of Manjushri are described, and the specific Manjushri form that is being the blessing of which is being given today is that of White Manjushree, and this practice of meditation on visualization of White Manjushree is particularly recommended for those practitioners for whom the emphasis is really on cultivation of bodhicitta, grounded in the cultivation of loving kindness and compassion on the one hand, and cultivation of wisdom that penetrates into the individual characteristics of all phenomena. So for those practitioners, the meditation on White Manjushree, form of White Manjushree is especially recommended.
Oh yeah. So every practice of tantric deity yoga, firstly we must sort of acquire some kind of the substance which turn to deity or visualize. Visualization. So the substance, that is wisdom which understand
emptiness, shunyata.
Shunyata of oneself. Or maybe here, shunyata of the subtle mind or mind. So in order to practice Tantrayana, Buddhist Tantrayana, we need some sort of experience, understanding of shunya. And then about that understanding, in order to become antidote of shijativa.
To subtle obscurations to knowledge. And that wisdom must be complemented and reinforced by bodhicitta.
So, Buddhicitta and understanding of Shunya, these are the basis, main condition for practice of Tantrayana. 다 나한테 가스게 좋은지 다 떠버매 봐. 거라 라왕 그 두버지 예배 이나 아니 풍부 준네 다 두야 해지다 이거 말이야. 다 안다고 다 세대 풍부를 때네 딱서 있잖아요. 탐매배 풍부 나와도 세니 이물라 돈유도에서는 할샤와 세버시 제베이나 로텔 거로 내투나 텔 때네 딱배 맞을 셔도 봐.
So, just as we spoke about yesterday, how if self exists in the manner in which we perceive, which is that it is somehow independent of the aggregates, physical and the mental aggregates that make up our existence, then, as Nagarjuna's text point out, then it becomes very difficult to explain how, on the basis of changes in the body, the physical aggregate, one can talk about the changes at the level of the self. However, so what this indicates is the kind of the deep dependence of our notion of self upon the physical and the mental aggregates. Therefore, self arises, self is understood as something that is contingent upon the physical and the mental aggregates, and it's designated upon that. If that is true, then in your tantric visualization practice, if when one cultivates the wisdom, understanding emptiness, and imagining that as taking the shape of a meditation deity, then focused upon that, one can, as a result of the visualization and meditation practice, at some point it is possible to in fact identify with that and develop a sense of I am.
배나 다가는 신기 배나 강사 천시 시베되는 샤니 배나 근신함시도 샤베이나 근신함시도 루모된 샤 그러다 루모된 샤 되는 지기 기타 마스야도 루모된 게 시베되는 샤베이나 다 그래서 타이는 저 나게게 별 가고 그러셔 돈이 들고 숨을 하셔서 더 가고 싶어.
So similarly, if we were to follow the line of, so if we follow the line of thinking that takes, say, a foundational consciousness or store consciousness to be the, in the final analysis, the true identity of the person, as some Buddhist masters suggest, because the store consciousness, alaya vijnana, is identified to be a neutral state of mind, then on that basis it becomes quite difficult to also understand how the wisdom, understanding emptiness can arise in the form of a meditation deity. How would that be understood to take the form of a meditation deity?
저도 풍부를 때는 따라서 시제는 롱을 샤대하게 풍부 차와서 롤 샤유는 될 때는 딱배 가서 롤 셔도.
So on the other hand, our notion of self is that of something that is merely designated upon the physical and the mental aggregates. Then when you do the deity yoga visualization, then it is possible to have a personal identification that is based upon the form of the deity that you have cultivated.
Yeah. 다잖아. 아데 다지당하는 장 가고 예 주지 이런 특징이 원래 요원의 손이 원래 강리야 시진게 레범 남쇼 되지 이래서 받체 등기 그게 장 꾸여서 될래 다대한의 장 알아봐서는 구시르샤 다가다 이구단 이거는 장 가고 되지 이래서 받체.
So now for the purpose of the blessing empowerment, you should visualize the Guru in the form of a meditation deity, White Manjushree, as depicted on the tanka there, but there is also a larger tanka here, with his right hand in the gesture of granting wishes, while holding from the stem of a lotus with a sword, and on his left hand in the gesture of preaching, while holding from the stem of a lotus with his with the scripture of professional wisdom on the lotus. And then on my right, where there is the image of the Manjushri. Sorry. So in your right, imagine the Guru in the form of a white Manjushri with his right hand in the gesture of granting wishes, but he's not holding a sword there. Sorry, that was my mistake. And on his left hand.
So less danger, no sword.
And his left hand in the gesture of preaching, but holding from the stem of a lotus with a scripture of a volume of eight professional wisdom in 8,000 lines. And then where the Manjushri image is arranged on my right, there too you should visualize, imagine another white Manjushri. Sorry, 100,000 words, 100,000 lines, not 8.
So, then, then don't mention opinion. 청아 전부다에는 동네심자 다지로 갸바자와 상에서 최전세지 쇼조로 제 야. 그 스킨들이다. 오면서 아무래도 군들이 하나 홍배 오면서 뭐지도 소도 무슨 뭐지도 동반이도 여러 도망가는 여러 거는 야요는 사실을 그게 좀 어떠셔도 통화가 나거든요. 뭐 뭐안 되나 아까가야 엄마가 손 안 되는 거도 엄마가 무슨 배는 무슨 비어라서 홍배 무담도 그러는 하나 홍배 매한도 저거는 어디서 당연히 sem지순고래 그 생각을 거래요. 네. 뒤에서 망제 배지 뒤에야래. 너는 삼바이스 하게. 하다 수제되기 접송조하다. 다시 투모모이 접송조하다. 되는 멤버십 기야지. 마 오늘 르쇼나 아니 세주스면 잡아타라로 로 냠배 이 장동숭이하게 미버디에체 되는 뒤슈고데 아니 준주구치 네버젠 지스 나가나 봤어 뒤체 저도 차숨지 송쇼 안 디걸이야다 중국을 하서 땡려야 얘마다 중국 가다 하 등준의 하사셔 디땡려야 좀 된데 아니 루루서 디디 관에 되다 예 관제제 아니 되어서도 심기바 아니 미베잖아 지스도 넘어서 디디 미버스 나셔.
So next is generating the awakening mind, bodhicitta. So this will be done on the basis of repeating 3 times the 3 stanzas, which many of you might be familiar with. So so these stanzas begin with taking refuge in the 3 jewels, and then generating the awakening mind in the form of an aspiration. And if you are able to, then you can also imagine taking the Bodhisattva vows and committing yourself to engaging in the conduct of the Bodhisattva, engaging in the practices, And then this will be followed by the third stanza, which is a very powerful and inspiring stanza from Shantideva, as long as space endures. So when you do these 3 repetitions of these 3 stanzas, you should imagine that above in the space of the mandala deities, that you have visualized the Guru in the form of meditation deity Manjushri. You have also visualized Manjushri on my right, which is the front generation of Manjushri. Above in the space, you should imagine the presence of the Buddha surrounded by all the great masters such as Manjushri and so on. And Nagarjuna and so on. And in their presence, imagine generating the Bodhicitta, awakening mind, and taking the Bodhisattva vows if you are taking it. So with these in mind, we will repeat these 3 lines, 3 stanzas 3 times. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening, for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening, for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening, for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the 나 배제다. 대한도 로마랑이 탈게 중도. 나 왕톱 용어지. 아니 탈게 쳐제. 왕톱 만용에서 아니 지구리하다. 장금지.
So the next is generating oneself into the meditation deity. So those who have received empowerments before, you can visualize yourself as arising in the form of meditation deity. If you haven't received empowerments before, you can visualize the meditation deity at your crown.
나 오늘 숨바와시도 사와다 뭐 숨바와시도 항스럽이 강사가 되면 최기 다음에 디니부디 아주 템버체.
So when I begin with the recitation of the mantra Om Svabhava Shuddha Sarvadama, at that point you should recollect your understanding, recall your understanding of the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena.
오면서 아미르다 보라래 하나 네 오모소 바와슈 오모 숨바와슈도 사와다마 숨바와슈도 항 동반이도 나 동뱅안에 아니 오메자수 지익상 딘 나리야 아니 디 유들라 야 빼면 동부 지익상 디 땡라 아니 다외딩이 되는야 아니 가쇼데 이제 장 가고 알용수 교발에 알렌 다외 긴구 기 땡도 랑스미고 이거 아까부 대용수 교발 아까부 제익상 당연 도시라다.
So now from within this emptiness, you should visualize arising of an ocean of milk on which, at the center of which is a lotus, and on that lotus you should visualize arising from which is the nature of your essential nature of your own mind, a cushion of moon disk that arises from that R. So on that cushion of moon, visualize a letter R standing upon it, which is the essential nature of your mind.
Yeah.
So this R is actually the form of what your understanding of the mind, your mind understanding emptiness has taken.
Oh yeah. 다디가 돈이 고바 인도자네 겨와 계베 dunziji yirche. Simchen shen tekonan yil mombe wangi dungegi xiangwaan du jude badi di dungegi zawe da nyembu jude badi cha.
So this is because it represents your realization of emptiness. It's also something that can please the Buddhas, and also in actual fact this because it is the wisdom realizing emptiness, has also the power and capacity to serve as an antidote to eliminate the root of suffering of all beings. So from the total transformation of this letter A arises a White Manjushree.
That's an
endowed with all the noble, major and minor noble marks. So visualize that Manjushri being marked by letter Om at his mid-brows, on his forehead, and A at his throat, and Hum at his heart.
That is a very good way. Japan good. How could he? Chance you got my to the shower, Tango Shay, Zane, the Dungi, Japan, University, Jan Bottle of Chundi, did Japan go. I never has already bottom of any Ranima, Timsu, Samache.
So when I perform the gesture of placing this statue of Manjushri upon your head, you should imagine that light rays emanate from the heart of Manjushri, which you have visualized in front of you, that extend towards all directions and draws forth blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the form of various sizes of the images of Manjushri, which dissolve into you.
Sanje kunji kushawa, sanje kunji kuyinde, sanje kuyi chinlebe, jambayanji kuto sho, zahong pama ho, kuyi chinlebe. Da sunga chinlebe, oh ya, da sunga chinlebe da, Tadi Jindu Chimoche, that's Dadi Malia in Dinarana, the Sumachilo Narana, Sergi, sort of.
So, and that is the granting of the blessing of Manjushri's body. So, for the next is the granting of the blessing of Manjushri's speech. So, for this, you should imagine making a heartfelt request to the Guru to grant the blessings of Manjushri's speech.
Yeah. Da dan dungi da lama dungi nija da kada no nija dige tubaliya any kolo garbo da kolo de da anda reji kolo ba reji kolo che ziptu jek ni sum shi nga tu ziptu che da ziptu ye da digi any earlier you teacher that's all there. Oh, you got the page hungry, that's seven teacher yamada. Yeah. Did I give? 대화를 드셔 알으셔. a hum sage hum di tilinala ay sabache ani sip tu gala wa ye da na masjane yigtu che.
So for this,
now the yigtu dile ver so ver setangda nga changdo chuliya ya chungni lama de digi shene chung janangzu jambayang de side de digi shene ma shu ningali jebe kholo zip tu ko de samni telma da timni and sungshilo molo toso nya ba che.
So for this, you should visualize at the heart of both Guru in the form of Manjushri and also the front generation Manjushri, the Manjushri that you have visualized to the right of me, where the Manjushri statue is, at his heart as well, because you have visualized letter Hum at his heart, and inside the drop of that Hum, which is the Bindu, inside that drop, you visualize a 6-spoked wheel. Now all these spokes are actually sharp swords, like kind of, and so sharp-edged, 6-spoked wheel lying flat, and at the center of this wheel, you visualize a letter R, and then starting from the front spoke, you visualize 6 syllables going clockwise on each syllable on each of the spokes with Om, Vak, Kya, Dhanam, A. And then having visualized Dhanama, Om Vakai Dhanama. So you visualize that set on the wheel at the Guru's heart and also at the heart of Manjushri. And in the actual meditation, you visualize mantra, syllables of the mantra, which are strung on a thread of light emerging out of the Guru's mouth and emerging out of the Manjushri's mouth, Guru in the form of Manjushri as well. And they enter through your mouth and they remain standing around on the spokes at your heart, where you have also visualized a similar wheel, white wheel. So first repeat after me.
Om Vaje Dhanama.
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 So
repeat 21 times with me.
Om Vaje Dhanama. 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 Om Vaje Dhanama.
So now imagine that the blessing of the mantra that you have received is stabilized. Now imagine making request to the Guru to grant the blessing of Manjushri's mind or heart. So both the Guru and the initiates, you have to adopt a posture of meditation. With your feet, legs crossed, and with your palms right placed upon the left
계지 정보상.
And with your spine straight.
제니다 너런이게 륜에 자원이 강보기로 라관 냠샤 계지상 믹 반할 때 그것이 믹 나지 포스가 다 들이디 남자한테 특수 고백 그도 넣지 전에 또 스타 반항도 스타가 똥상 될때 그게 믹 그도 통대하기 유진 거보다 성마당 채다 그래서 투두기 시바코랑 뭐 있다 돼.
So normally when you meditate, the recommendation was to keep your eyes slightly downcast in front of you. But now for this meditation, you have to keep your eyes looking straight in front of you. So and here with your eyes open. So in the kind of style of doing Dzogchen breakthrough or texture meditation, and here you should not focus on the actual objects that lies in front of you, but rather on the kind of the empty space in front of you, so that as much as possible you are focusing more on the actual the nature of mind itself, rather than any objects that comes in front of you.
시바다 기시기시 유동해.
So of course the mental states are such that they are constantly in fluctuation, constantly changing.
시바 랑은 두 시메이나 랑도 두 시메이나 패지 깨는 때도 요요 마시면
So if the mental states possess some form of inherent existence, then these mental states will not be susceptible to any changes due to conditions and circumstances.
내내 이르자네 셰베런시 다 땡진 드라이버 중에 만주상.
So therefore recall the actual nature of these mental states, which is the nature of total dependence, and that the fact that they are dependently originated.
Intellectuals were some to stamp in that turn to which ready Lord Nunduzane could choose Lord Nagua.
So if you critically or intellectually think about the way in which we perceive things and the way in which things actually exist, although with respect to mental states their actual reality is utter dependence, that they are dependently originated, they arise only by means of dependence. However, when we perceive them, we tend to perceive them as if they possess some kind of autonomous, discrete realities of their own. So then you contemplate and conclude that these mental states do not exist in the manner in which they appear to me, in the manner in which I perceive them. So as a result of this meditation process, you arrive at the conclusion that these mental states do not exist in a manner in which I perceive them. So this is this mere negation of their existence as I perceive them is what is represented by the letter R. The Sanskrit letter R is a particle, of negative particle. So now visualize in front of you a syllable R. So now, having visualized the syllable R in front of you, you focus your mind on this while fully maintaining your awareness of understanding of emptiness. And then with that state of mind, we'll repeat the syllable R 21 times.
Repeating that.
So repeat with me.
Yeah. That's an idea, yes. Yes, on that.
And then visualize the R dissolving, disappearing.
That that you are lost.
And then as much as possible, place your mind upon this total absence of any form of conceptual elaboration.
Oh, yeah, that is.
So this is the granting of the blessing of Manjushri's heart and mind.
That then
So next is the blessing of Manjushri's attributes and enlightened attributes and the activities. So imagine making a request to the Guru to grant this blessing. So this is the text of Manjushri Namasangiti, Manjushri Name Tantra.
How did you came into that? 당연히 저 라셔도 불어. 되니 잠배양지 주 찬양 다 와서 봐세 저 시기 정도 되어서 주제 잠재 이제 양지신 뭐 양지신배 늘어 퇴섬당 니네 때문에 되는 양소라는 지진 잠배양지 오방 뉴도 더버는 뉴에 늘어 결혼은 퇴섬 길어 양소롱 샹라야 된라 샤바길어 심지지 된 된 강줄 기시
So imagine the Guru gives you this text of Manjushri Name Tantra.
Oh, yeah. How came we doing? Finished. Good. 한 지도 잠배하기 장 가비신로 타오래. 근데 명랑서 엄마라서 나디사디 더 숙세한 거 봐. 아니야. 장 가비sun가디 타. 아니야 오래. 다 그래.
So you have received the White Manjushree Empowerment blessing, and of course normally we recite on a daily basis the general Manjushri's name, normal Manjushri's mantra, which is Om Arapasanati. So it will be helpful to also include the White Manjushri mantra, which is Om Vakya Dhanama.
잠배는 저 로고마 춘이라고 얘기하지만 나보면 자는 당연히 시 투시체도 도저 방면이 스스로 탈래 겨라 장자론 자양 근교 그베 제대시 공부 공대 렉션 뭐부터 돼봐 이 롱의 말이 TV 선은 그 팀이 니셔 시신 당원은 저 이제 수도 해주는 거라고 내면서 전화라고 좀 수버티던 반자에 서 무슨 상황이라고 그러죠. 三千万的问题，这样问题，这个问题，那么我对你要是没有问题，那当然没有，我就这个问题，我今天老板这个对什么的，老什么解释，所以我说真的一定改革，这些双包我这么包是这样的，不多少不这样的，现在国际学术大陆这搞完的，他们这种我就是随便讲，我就是你我干了说的，大概说，上不这些这种我，记得昨年没在我前面养的桥在路。